Okay.
Welcome to the Caribbean Edge. It is such a beautiful day in South Florida. For some people, it's like 40 something degrees. And I understand it's also chilly in Jamaica, so we're not used to this weather. But I know all the women are pulling out the sweaters and the boots, which we don't get a chance to wear often. So we're kind of enjoying it from that perspective. But otherwise, we love our Florida and Jamaica weather. So welcome if you're tuning in. This is a special tribute to parents around the world. My name is Dawn Wilson. I'm your host of the Caribbean Edge. And I just thought it would be a beautiful time of the year to recognize parents, because I don't think we spend enough time thanking our parents. And sometimes it's when we get older in life, we realize how significant and how important our parents are. So it's a message to our younger generation too, to just, if you love someone, not just your parents, just let them know. So welcome. I'm so glad to have you all on the panel. I have joining today Dr. Rupert Francis. Welcome, Dr. Francis. And we have Sherita joining us as well. We have Claudius joining us with his little one all snuggled up. And we have Keisha joining us as well. And we have Benzly joining us. So I'm going to have all of them introduce themselves to you and tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you want us to know, where you're from, and what you're doing with yourself, and who is that special person you want to recognize today? Let's start with Keisha.
So hi, everyone. I'm Keisha, and I live in South Florida. I've been in real estate for 15 years, and you know, that special someone is my mom and my dad. Love them to death. Other than that, what am I doing with myself? You know what? I'm married. We have 2 children, and you know what? I make the best out of everything that I've been given in life. So, you know, that's me in a nutshell.
Well, thank you. So nice to have you. And we'll dig into your parents and what's special about them. How about you, Benzly? Tell us about yourself.
Me? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I am chilling in Jamaica. I am a musician and an actor. I am, I have a son and a daughter, Symphony and LJ. My mom passed at Christmas, so every Christmas is kind of a difficult time for me. So a friend of mine suggested that, yo, let's talk about it, you know what I mean? So I'm here to kind of give her some flowers while I'm here. You know what I mean? My father's still here. He's very much alive and kicking. And I love him too. You know? Yeah. I might look very young, but I'm not that young. That's the thing. It's the trick.
Well, thank you. And we know you're taking time out from the studio to join us this evening. Yeah. I do want to say I am so sorry about your mom. Michelle did mention that to me as well. So I know it is a difficult time for you and a lot of people during this time, because it also can be a lonely time for people. So thank you. And we're glad that you're here to pay tribute to your mom and your dad as well. So thank you. Yeah. And Sherita.
Hello. I am Sherita Sutton, and I am a life coach, public speaker, published author, and the community outreach representative at a post-secondary training institute. And I am here in Atlanta, Georgia. So it is cold here as well, but that's what helps make it feel like Christmas. For me, I expect a little chill around the holidays. And tonight I'm honoring, of course, all the parents, but especially my parents, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and all of my close family and friends who put in the effort of doing their best to develop some strong, faithful little people who will become adults one day, and everything they're doing now is, making the most important difference in who those people are going to be. And even just want to honor the people who spend a lot of time with young adults and children, even if they aren't parents themselves, because everyone around kids and young adults influence them one way or another. So even non-parents, aunts, uncles, family members, other friends have a really large influence on the lives of the kids and the young adults around them. So just, wishing everyone a happy holidays and hoping that everyone feels the love this year.
Oh, thank you for that. And yes, that cold weather in the holiday season is certainly a breath of fresh air for us. So yeah, you'll probably have like some 30-degree weather there. We're hoping not to go below the 40s here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Francis, welcome back to the Caribbean Edge. How are you this evening? You're on mute.
Yes, I said good evening to you all the participants today, especially you, the host, Dawn. I'm very happy to be here with you at this time to honor parents. I think it's very, very important. As someone said earlier, send me flowers before I'm gone. My empathy really goes out to the young man. I say young, he's still young, who lost his mom at Christmas time. But, I lost my mother, and at Christmas time is the time I feel emboldened because, if she was around, she is still around, in fact. And I think she guides my world and my purpose. And the instrument, she is the instrument of me at all times. And I'm here to honor her as my parent, my single parent. It was not the done thing in those days to have a single parent, but she proposed wrong. She did both roles very well. And I am not dishonoring my father, but the fact of the matter is that she was my rock. And so as a result of that, all my life, I have tried to make it up to her. And from the day I started working until the day she died when she was 90 years young, she never worked again. And also, I was able to look after my brothers and sisters at the time, and they now can look after me, I would imagine. But I want to honor all mothers like that and all fathers who took the risk, because when I started to have children, I said, well, I'm not going to do what my father did. I'm going to make sure I'm the very best father that I can be. And so that is my mantra, has always been and always will. I'm completing a book on my mother called My Mother Who Fathered Me, The Real Story, because it was written once by Edith Clark, a professor from the university. But I think I am going to do a little one-up on that one with telling my story. So I want to honor all of you today and honor all mothers and fathers throughout this land and throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you. I love the title of that book. Looking forward to it. So we're going to have to pressure you and give you some deadlines on that because you can't keep us waiting long.
Absolutely won't. Now that you've said it like that.
Absolutely. The Caribbean Edge wants a copy for its bookshelf and for reading pleasure as well.
You didn't have to tell me that.
And Claudius, how are you today? Tell us about you. And who is the little one with you?
I'm trying to get her to go to the living room to watch TV, but she thinks I'm more important.
That's fine. She's welcome.
Yeah, she's my daughter. She's 2. Say hi. She's not in it today. Yeah.
And what's her name?
She's in Isra.
Isra.
Isra. Izra.
Isra, beautiful.
Yeah,
Tell us about you and what do you do and who are you honoring?
My biological name is Claudius England. Sometimes I get stuck at looking at the last part of my name and figure out where I'm from. I'm still asking a lot of questions. A lot of people want to call me Claudius African because of how I look, you know. But I am a man who really likes to change the world through music, through positive encouragement, through uplifting thoughts. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. All of them growing well. I have to take my hats off to my mom, my dad, my grandmother, my aunties, my uncles, the people who are there parenting my kids, even when I'm not around, you know? So I have to give great thanks to them. And, you know, I really know it's not an easy journey to be a father or a mother. So when I see it and experience it for myself, then I can give more appreciation to my mother, my father, my aunts, the people who have instilled in my life so that I can actually instill in my kids' life. I'm a musician too. I do outreach in the schools, community, churches. I'm gonna get there. Yeah,
Okay.
she's gonna be good.
Oh, poor baby. Well, that's what parenting is all about, right?
We're doing the right one right now, eh?
Exactly.
You want to say hi to everybody?
Oh, she's not saying hi to us now.
Well, let me just give her to her aunt and we can continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
Thanks.
Bye, Isa. All right. So, Benzly, I'm going to jump over to you. Once again, thank you for being here. Tell us about your mom. What is your journey with your mom? What would you want the world to know about her?
Well, what do I want the world to know about my mom? That a little background here. I did a television show called Nyama Crew. I'm the executive producer of the show, and I actually wrote the story around me and my mom. So a lot of stuff that she used to say to me, and you know, I put in the show, so that way she lives on. You know, I mean, it's kind of said away. I did it a little before she died. I was doing the show, and I really put a lot of saying she grew me up on in the show. So I think it gives the world a different look. I should say a more in-depth look at how my mom grew me, how she saw things. You know what I mean? So people want to say, "Oh, I see my mom." I would like the world to know my mom and see her. I think the show kind of expresses some of that. She's a very determined person, and she always. I remember the first thing my mom told me that I could remember. She told me that anything I want to do, I can do. I remember that, like, it's vivid in my memory. She said to me, "The sky is not the limit. It's just the sky. It's further than the sky." You know, she's always telling me that type of thing. So as a kid, I know if you know you go to school, you see how the kids are always crying. I was one who was always crying. You know, I was always crying. I was just teased and all that. And my mom used to tell me that my own company gives me strength. So if somebody don't like you, focus, just lock in, find your inner strength. So these things throughout the years that made me very much stronger than a lot of my peers. I go through a lot of stuff, and it gave me strength. You know what I mean? So I really want to pass that on to my kids, because that's my mom's side. Because my father's side is another situation. But my mom, I think that's what I want a lot of people to. That's what I want to be remembered for. That eloquent resilience and strength that she have. You know what I mean? She's the life of the party. My mom is the life of the party. The energy. All right, Christmas now. If my mom was here, I think that's why it hurts me so much about Christmas, because my mom's favorite time of year was Christmas, because she cooks and cooks and cooks. And when she starts to cook, Everybody knows she cooked there. You can smell it down the road, and the whole family come at the house, and it's like, mom is like, she don't sleep the night. She don't sleep for 2 days. She up and open the oven, back and forth, and you know what I mean? That thing, she was the embodiment of Christmas to me. You know what I mean? So right now, I have my sisters and stuff, but it's like, and to know that she passed in Christmas is like, I haven't celebrated Christmas since my mom has passed. I haven't, because it's like, it seems so fake to me, just like, really, you know what I mean? But that's another story. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And moms around the world are relating to you. I think that's one of the things that us moms like to do is cook and just celebrate life and, just fill the world with joy. Not only are we moms to our own kids, but the neighborhood kids and their friends and everyone else. So
she used to laugh. Her laughter was like you got laugh that just can't stop laughing. She laughs until she hears herself laughing and laugh some more. People laugh and can't stop laughing. Just keep laughing and she stops and she stops. She's not stopping. Just keep going. I miss that, man. She was the mother for so many people. All of my friends who didn't have a mother used to come to my house. She used to save them money for them. She used to, a lot of famous people right now, I can tell you, she used to save them money because their mom wasn't there, and she was the one who used to hold them money and make sure them go to school. She was, yeah.
I feel your pain. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and we see it. We feel it. Thank you. Keisha, tell us about your mom and what's special about her. What do you want to talk about with her tonight?
Well, first, Benzly, definitely want to just share my deepest sympathies with you. I can only imagine what that feels like, losing somebody you love around that time. So hugs, and, I'm sure your mom, she's definitely looking at you at this time, and she wants you to, when you get to that place, to open up again, and celebrate her. So yeah. Something that I think about, the natural order of things, that if and when that does happen, that I'm sure I will be in a similar situation as yourself, because that's my mom, Christmas time. She's the one cooking, she's baking that Christmas cake. You can smell it from a mile away. Like, all those things just resonates with me around this time. So I, again, give you my deepest sympathies. My mom, I want to honor her as well as my dad, because, I was raised by both of them. Thankfully, I was able to afford that, or they were able to afford me that. And growing up, we weren't rich, but we never really knew that we didn't have, because they made sure that we had everything that we needed, So in terms of honoring, I have to honor them both. My dad was always a really hard worker, just making sure that we're all okay. And even to this day, my dad is a hard worker. Coming to the United States, their first generation immigrants, it wasn't like any of us was born here. And when we immigrated here, they kept on working, and they're still working right now. So I honor them, because at the end of the day, like, they show me that it doesn't matter your age, you can still go out there, you can still do what you need to do. And they keep setting goals and just smashing them. I'm so proud of them all the time. They taught me the value of owning my own home. They taught me the value of just making sure that, I can manage my debt and stuff like that, get rid of debt. Like, everything that I am, I owe to my parents, and I love them for it. They're firm when they need to be, and at the same time, now we're at the place where we can joke around, and sometimes we switch roles. It's almost like I'm the parent parenting them, and I have to try to remind myself to step back. Hello, they're your parents, so honor your parents biblically in every way. So I just want to say how much I love them and I appreciate them, because they continue to show me that age is just a number and you can do anything you set your mind to.
Absolutely. I'm so relating to you because I didn't have parents, so I'm not relating in that manner, but relating as far as the transition of your kids with your parents. Like, it's such a difference now because my kids are a little more grown, and so we're more friends now than anything else. Still their parents, still have to respect, still teaching them every day. But one of the beauties of this tonight is we're sharing our experiences, and I'm going to learn from each of you, as we'll all learn from each other through conversation and through love. So that's great. So did your parents punish you? And
So in terms of punishment, well, my mom was the one that enforced the law. My his words, but my mom enforced, if you know what I mean. And I look back at it today, I know, we don't do the same as our parents in most situations. We've grown, we've learned more. And even my parents at this point, they're like, wow, spanking is not necessarily the right way to go. And they're actually more open now. Like, if they see someone being too rough with a child, they're like, just talk to them. I'm like, wait, are you? Where was this when I was growing up? But yeah, they enforced. My mom was the enforcer, and my dad was, the hand that kind of was like soothing me, but still, enforcing with his words.
Yeah. Oh, I can see your love for them shining through as you talk about them. So thank you for sharing your amazing parents with us. And you mentioned you have children yourself. So a lot of what we've gone through, we're either going to pass it on to our children, or somewhere in there we probably decipher, like the beatings. Is this something you want to pass on to the next couple of generations, So yeah, we'll take out some stuff and then create our own parenting skills as well. And then maybe one day they'll be talking about us and honoring us. Dr. Francis, tell us about your mom being raised by a single parent. I'm sure a lot of kids are tuning in for this, and parents as well that have worked so hard to just raise their kids by themselves for whatever reason. So tell us about your mom.
Well, first of all, let me deal with the idea of punishment. It was a given. And I didn't like it at the time. But now that I reflect on, because she was by herself, literally, and it took a village really to raise me, because I grew up in a family home with uncles and aunts and my grandparents and so on and so forth. So it was a combination. As a matter of fact, if I got one spanking, I might have gotten 7, because, each person would kind of take me on afterwards. But the point that, yes, you shake your head, brother, but you might be remembering too. The point I'm trying to make, is that, but when I reflect on what was happening and to rein me in as a person and my brothers and sisters, I have to ask myself, she was in her role trying to protect me. And she always protected me. And I didn't know, because I was a little bit wayward. It might not be obvious now, but I would not stay home. I didn't like to go to school. I didn't want to go to church. And, well, you may say, okay, fine. But, here's the situation. The fact of the matter is that parenting nowadays have changed. I've seen it change in front of my eyes, and I have to ask myself the question, whether or not the parenting now is better than the parenting then, okay? And I have deduced that, I think that she did what best she could under the circumstances. Now, in regards to not having enough to go around, and I was never a greedy person. I was never a greedy child or anything like that. But at the same time, we had to make good with what we had. And we were never greedy or trying to get what other people had and what have you. So she did what she could to survive and to give us a good, sense of family, in the way that, I think that I grew from it all. I was never you know, the things that I said, you know, like, for example, you know, people, they said, thou shalt not covet. You know, I'm not going biblical on anybody, but the fact of the matter, I never grew up wanting things from anybody else or wanting what other people had. And I think I got that from my mother. She was very quick to put me in my place if I tried to get out of place or take something from somebody else. So the values that I had growing up, although we were not rich, were rich values, and I credit her for that. She never you know, at one stage I really felt that my mother was like a little terrorist, you know. She said, I brought you into this world and I can take you the hell out, you know. And when I looked at my mother in her eyes at 5'2", she meant it. And you know, I'm gonna tell you straight up right here, ladies and gentlemen, I really didn't mind. I don't mind, because I tell you, I am what I am today because of the way she treated me, because I knew she did it in love. It may not be apparent now, and we may be looking back at it, but I'm telling you, believe you me, as God be my judge, I know that I enjoy it. Let me say this also. Towards the end of her life, she should have died a couple of times. I can't believe, you know, how she was so resilient. I remember she had cancer when she was maybe in her early 30s. And in those days, cancer was a death sentence, you know, and she was sent to a place called Mona Rehab in Kingston. And I didn't know where Mona Rehab was. I had to investigate, and I had to, you know, I found myself to Kingston some 50 odd miles away from Ocherius. I'm from Ocherius, can you imagine? And I ended up at the university hospital, and my mother was in this place with Sir John Goulding, and they had what is called something like, you know, whatever, they burnt out the cancer, whatever, you know, what, I don't remember even the terminology they used at the time. But it was quite right. When I saw my mom in the place that I saw her, I didn't believe that she would live, but I prayed that she would. And she had the strength to live. And she outlasted Dr. John Goulding by 25 years. She lived until she was 90 years old. So, I mean, I saw power in her commitment, because she didn't want to leave her children behind. And in the end, let me say this to you, I know you're going through a lot of hurt now, my friend, but in the end, I wanted my mother to go, because, you know, she was in pain, and I would internalize her pain. And so I'm saying to you, if you could spare my mom that travail, my sisters would have held her here until eternity. But I said, no, we have to make sure that she transitions. And it's my love for her that was able to help me do that. And I want to remember her from that perspective. And I've listened to all of you. And I want to tell you, I've learned a lot from every speaker here this evening based upon your submissions. And I'm telling you, I really am happy that I am sharing with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Benzly, do you want to say anything? I know everyone's said something to you.
Give thanks for all the words, man. Really help a lot. Yeah, incidentally, mom died of cancer as well. You know. Yeah, died of cancer. Found out lots of stuff behind that. But another story. Yeah. Pops is still here. So yeah, Pops is still kicking, you know what I mean, and give thanks. Talk about my father's always been here. And they've been married, they knew each other 50 years. They've been together, 50 odd years they were together. And they've been married 30 odd years. So, but until he passed, but you know, a lot of history. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Claudius.
Bless Benzly, you know, it's really kind of hard to hear you say that was your mom in this time, because, you know, for many people, it's like this is a time when we enjoy family. So I can understand. No, I can't really put myself in a position because I still have my mom and I still have my dad. Yeah, but I can understand the fact that in a time of celebration, it brings you also pain. So it's really not the easiest place to be at. But I can say that, you know, in relations to like my growing up and my mother and my father, I mean, I have to be 100% sure and clear to everybody that my mom and dad were instrumental in raising me. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity, because God forbid I lose one. At least I just say a while ago, Papa there the same way. You understand what I say? And the bond and the relationship that we have is identical to the bond and relationship I have with my mom. Yes, my mom is a little bit more huggy feely, but my mother never played football with me. My daddy did that, you know. So there's always a role. So yeah, but they asked me to sing a song, and I just felt like I don't know if I can just sing something for just kind of quench the atmosphere. Because this, for the people who don't have a mommy or a daddy, this is a song that's dropping on my spirit for these people. And also for people who have a mom and dad and don't really feel that, or just for people who want encouragement. So this is my song. Benzly, let me tell you, I'm gonna take this one. Let's see me split it. Just thumbs up if you hear me properly. I love you, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I cry out to you most high, cause without you, I'm nothing at all. All weapon that rise up against me with you in my life will never stand tall. So I kneel at your throne in praise and worship. Oh Lord, I adore you. I give you dominion over my heart and over the song. Yeah, Yahweh, I'm so in love with you. I want to give you thanks for the things you brought me through. Yahweh, I'm loving your presence. I'm wrapped up in your arms. Oh, what a sweet essence. Yahweh, I'll never let you go. On the days of my life, it's your glory I will show. Yahweh, Yahweh. So my God said that. Unconditional, unconditional. And even when I fall down, you're never too critical, yeah. You make me smile again, through the roughest and the toughest. Yes, you are my friend. When life keep push me down, you always pick me up off the ground. Yahweh, I'm so in love with you. I want to give you thanks for the things you brought me through. Yahweh, I'm loving your presence. I'm wrapped up in your arms. Oh, what a sweet essence. Yahweh, I'll never let you go. On the days of my life, yes, your glory I will show. Yahweh, Yahweh. Whoa. Yeah. I want to give you thanks. Whoa. Yeah. For my mama and my dad. No, even when you fall, Lord, you pick me up. You never keep me down, Lord, you lift me up. You never let me thirst, Lord, you fill my cup. And for all these things that I will big you up. I'm so grateful to you, you turn my life around. And I don't have to fear any kind of song. Cause I'm covered by your love. Yes, I'm walking in your blood. You're so faithful. You always me true, Yahweh. I'm so in love with you, Yahweh. The funny things you brought me through, Yahweh. I'll never let you go, Yahweh. So no matter what you're going through in your life, even when you don't have an earthly mom or earthly dad, there's a parent that's bigger than all of that. And that's my conviction. I'm just going to really release it and leave it with everybody listening, everybody on the street, you know. In this time, we still have to speak joy and peace and fun in your life. I mean, most of your mother want you to celebrate this time. So celebrate, you know. I'm sing it. So me just say, Yahweh, I'm so in love with you, Yahweh. And for the things you brought me through, Yahweh, I'll never let you go, Yahweh. Yahweh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bridget.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And it's such an emotional night for us all today. I want to, also honor parents that have adopted children. There's so many out there that are doing an amazing job, adopting children from different countries and making a difference in kids' lives, providing them with, a roof over their head and a family to have. So they're certainly worth recognizing tonight. Some of us grew up without parents as well and have become parents like myself. We've had our grandmothers raise me and us. So I'm a product of a child that was raised by her grandma for an extended period in her life. And my grandma was really rough. She was that cussing grandma that would just line up all the Jamaican bad words them together and say, wake up when I come out down a bed on a think of hotel, So she was just rough, but you just always knew grandma loved you and she raised a lot of us. And the other night, someone shared something on their page. And it was a beautiful song and I can't sing. And it was just, the words of the song, I just started crying because I think for the first time as an adult, I realized how much of her is in me. She was this strong woman. She was the rock, the foundation of our family. And when I heard the song and it just says, you raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I'm on your shoulder. You raise me up more than I can be. And I just started crying. Listen, that's one of the reasons we're doing the show tonight. And it just reminded me of the strength that I am as a woman today and as a single mom, how much of my grandma, without knowing it, is in me. Just, people say, how do you do it? Or how do you get through the difficult times? And now I can reflect back on this amazing woman who is no longer with us. So I would certainly honor her, and for all the people that didn't have a parent or had a parent that was abusive. There may be somebody in your life, because this is certainly a time when we reflect and we go through an emotional time because we miss someone that's no longer with us. So that's why we're honoring you tonight. And I want to share with you that my best friend, Paula Haas, her mom actually calls me her daughter. She introduces me to everyone as her daughter. Her entire family has actually adopted me. And, we're just blessed. So you find parents around the world that aren't even your biological parents, that is certainly making an impact in your life. So this show is about your parents, as well as all the people that have just taken someone under their wing or their umbrella and made a difference in their life. So I would ask anyone out there, if there's a kid out there that just needs some love or something, now is the time and forever for us to just extend grace to everyone and heal as a world together. So that would be my input for tonight. And I just want to touch all bases of parenting, include your own. So if anyone on this panel has a testimony or anything you want to share with us, just speak out. This is what we're here for tonight.
I just want to I want to just add to what I said a while ago, because I saw my mom also. My mom and my dad has five of us. And through my growing up, I saw my mom. My house was a place where I saw cousins come and they're there for like 2 years. My mom was always a person who she take care of everybody. You understand? Sometimes even if my dad was like, "Marcia, you can't," she's like, "I gotta do it," But over these years, when 20 years pass, and I am now seeing even my cousin who is here now, who is actually holding my daughter, she wasn't one of the person who went through my mom for like 5 years. So I grew up in Montego Bay. Jamaica. And my mom's a teacher. So she was very, very instrumental in making sure that all the people who came to my house went to proper schooling, did proper thing. You know, that was her governance when it comes to like family members. So my mom is from a place called Moko in Clarendon. That's like, whoa, you know, ever hear about them place there? And then coming to Montego Bay. So when she bring her family members and my cousins from Moko in Clarendon to Montego Bay, they're going to Moby High, they're going to Mount Alverna, they're going to the best schools. So she was always an interface. And I have to give her that because she's a teacher. She was always an interface for so many other people. So in other words, she was a parent. As you just said a while ago, she took everybody under her wing and made sure that they're good. She just got an award the other day, and I'm going to big her up now because she just got an award from the government in Jamaica for teacher, community teacher, like on the Heroes Day. So, mommy, I know you will say this, so we are big up you internationally on the Caribbean edge with Dan Wilson. Big up yourself.
That is so beautiful. Big up, mommy, and
yeah, big up. And last thing, mommy. Again, I said to you before that I have 6 kids. So I had 2 relationships, 3 from a previous and 3 from this one. So in the process of everything, when you know the international affairs start happening, you have to get your kids on this side and every kind of, you don't know what to do with the kids and you're trying to get everything organized. I just said, God, my mom take care of my kids like it's me. So I have no worry in this world. Like, it's like, I'm like, this segment is, I don't even need to take no parent props. She's getting all of my parent props right now.
What a way to honor your mom and teachers out there. I'm so glad she received that recognition. Big up, mommy. We're so happy that you were recognized on the Caribbean Edge tonight. And we're so proud of your mom. And we're all going to be grandparents one day and hope to do the same thing your mom is doing and taking care of our kids as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to say anything about
I just want to say that it's really interesting that the men have come forward and the women, of course, have come forward, especially the men though, and to talk about their mothers. I remember that I wanted to make my mother proud because she did everything. I remember going to school was not easy for me because we just didn't have the means. And to go to school as a single parent, she literally everybody had to kind of jump in, even in the village, to send me to school. Of course, when I went to school, I made a fool of myself for the first 3 years, not recognizing how important it was. But when I recognized how difficult it was, and I mean, I'm talking about, I went there, I don't know how I managed at all. But she was there, and I was boarding in a place called Brownstown. And she did the last thing that she did. I remember my grandfather had given her just a little piece of land. You know, I mean, now that I look back on it, and I'd gone through school and I had to do 6th form, and they said it was important. And my mother sold that little piece of land that she had to send me. I mean, that's the only thing that she ever owned, to send me to school. And then you know, and then I recognized that, you know, that I had a responsibility, I had a role to play to make sure that the other kids were, what shall I say, would get the same thing. So from that, then as I went through my life and my studies, and I was lucky enough to win a scholarship to England to become an officer in the Jamaica Defense Force. And you know what happened? My mother had a little box, and I kept on knowing why she kept this little box. And when she and every accolade that I got, you know, whether I was Queen Scout, Boy of the Year for Jamaica, or whatever, that woman had, and even when I, you know, everything in that little box. And I have things now that I would never, ever even know where they were, and so on. She had put them up as mementos, and securing them for me. And when she passed, my sister came and gave me the box. And, you know, with all these mementos, and I still have them. I think I sent one of the pictures to show when she, you know, just when she was, you know, when a transition to when she, what she was. And it showed me that, you know, and when things happen to me that, you know, you're really not proud about, she would cry. And when my mother cried, I cried. I mean, I didn't want to admit it, but I did. Because she didn't speak very much. She did not say very, what should I say? Oh my God, articulate things. You know, she wasn't one of those persons who was expressive, and she didn't, to me, you know, was the light of the community, but she was the light of our lives. That she was the light of her children's lives, and but and I know she was proud of us, and she is proud now, you know. And so I'm happy when I hear the young man just say to that, I mean, about his mother. I think it was Claudius who said his mother, you know, is this teacher and she was recognized. Well, I believe that my life, I spent the rest of my life recognizing that my mother needed the accolades, not necessarily from anyone else, but from us. And I think that's what we did. We made sure that she was powdered and petted until the day she died. And so I know, having listened to everyone, by the way, I would not have even had that memory. And now you've given me something for my book, I would imagine, friends, so that, you know, I could really reflect back and go back. And so I'm very, very thankful for these memories that you have given me. As for that song, let me tell you, it was really great. I can't sing, by the way. I'm a record producer myself. Back in the day, you may not believe it, but it's true. And but I can tell you, yes, I did. And I write poetry prolifically. But at the same time, I could hear that empathy and that emotion and tone and pitch in the tone and pitch of your voice. And by the way, why are these ladies so silent and all these men so emotional today? I want to hear from the ladies, you know, because you're gonna come from behind it and just jump out. You understand me? But guys, tell you something. Thank you very much. You're holding the fort. Thank you.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Don, you're a miracle worker.
yeah. I wanted to say something because I know I talk about my mother. I don't talk about my father. My father is, as he's always been there from I was born, straight up and raised like five of us. You know what I mean? You know, two adopted and three of his own. He adopted two, so you know. And my father didn't grow with his father. He knew his father when he became like 25. That's when he knew his father. So he said, you know what? When I have my kids, I'm making all of them with me. So, you know, he made a special effort. My father was very much like that. I'm very, very, you know, he made me feel proud. My father is a very proud man and he makes me feel proud. You know that, you know, he does all these things. And he, similar to my mom, he's been the father for so many people. And I think it's important because I just something came to me a while ago as parents, because I'm a parent, that I'm with a dog. Yeah, that parents that we instill these little things in our kids from now. You know, the formative years between 0 and 7, you have to say. After that, it's kind of hard to bend back a child a certain way. So I think it's very important because my kids, my daughter, she's 10. Can't tell her nothing. She's 15, or she's 10. And my son is just 2, 1 going on 2. You know, and just run through the gate. You know what I mean? And I find that we have to, you know, as parents, instill certain things. As someone said earlier, I was watching, so I don't think one of these ladies said it, you know, I'm not trying to remember, is you or is you? Was it Sherita or she was it Kenny? I'm not sure. One of them said it. They said that as kids look up to elders, be you a star, be you a non-star, be you a policeman, be whatever it is, they look up to you. I tell people this all the time, you know, that you are role models without you even knowing it. So if you believe that you do something and they don't see it and don't follow, make a big mistake. You understand me? Because every single thing you put in front of a child, you take to it like a duck. If you repeat it, and the human mind is like that, you know, repetitive. Anything you repeat in front of a human mind, it takes to it. That's how we are. We are habitual. after a while, it becomes a habit that we can't even get rid of it. How are we doing this? Why? I don't know. Because you saw it over and over and over again, and after a while, it becomes you. You know what I mean? So it's very important what we put in front of it. And as a recording artist, I've been a recording artist since I was like 16 years old. I used to tell people this thing, and they say, you chat too much. You don't know what you're talking about. They used to tell me that kind of like, really? I have a philosophy that I live by. I posted it a couple of times, and a couple of newspapers reposted it. I tell you, if keep making stupid people famous, young people look at famous people and want to be like them. But guess what happens when you make stupid people famous? That keeps happening over and over again. So we are role models. You know what I mean? And it's important what we put in them brain from, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Big up, Pops.
Oh, well, thank you for honoring your dad. Certainly want to recognize all the fathers that are doing their job. And something you mentioned as well is breaking the cycle, because he may not have a dad that was there, but he certainly changed the destiny and made sure that he was there for his kids. And a lot of us have to decide that, right? If your parents not there, it makes you stronger and want to be there for your kids and not repeat the pattern. So breaking that cycle is certainly important. And like Dr. Francis says, our lady panelists are way too quiet here. They're smiling a lot. So Sherita wants to talk.
Yeah, I was, it was beautiful to see how excited and ready the men have been to chime in. And oftentimes women overtalk men. So I'm going to fall back and let them have it. So I'm here for it. So, I definitely, as I did mention, when you are in the presence of young adults, you're influencing them, whether you're their parents or not. And one thing that you just stated, the importance of changing things that maybe your parents did or didn't do, and you do them or don't do them for your children because you feel like that'll make them better. My life is a perfect example of the fact that children absorb more of what they see than just what they hear. My mother was a teen mom, but it was years later when she had my sister and years later when she had myself. There's, breaks between us about 6 years apart in her 3 children. And my mother mastered the art, even in being a single mom, of learning each of her kids, as we now refer to as their love languages. She has a special relationship with each one of us individually. And I've watched her nurture all 3 of her children, her grandchildren, other people's children. My grandmother, my family, it has always been the family that takes anybody who needs family. And I watched my mom, growing up, she had her 3 kids, my cousin and his best friend. Any given morning, there could be about 5 different guys on the den floor. A lot of people just flock to our homes. And one thing my mother always, if you were young enough to be her child, she treated you like you were her child. So I watched her always make sure that she gave all children her best. And, my mom is the type, I don't curse around other people's kids. I don't do this, because she knows that influence, they're watching. And because of the efforts that she put forward to make sure that her children had a better experience than she did, as we say, generational curses, her children broke those from her line. We don't have the same story. My sister and I were not teen moms. We are formally educated. And in real life, those things only matter for what they matter, because everything has its place. But again, children, they watch. No matter what you say, they're still watching. And so I myself as a woman, I'm not a mother yet, not physically, but I am a mother because there are so many young adults. I am a mentor. I speak in high schools, and I can be speaking about career interviews. And at the end of a presentation, I have a child literally asking, can you mentor me? Can I call you auntie? Can I? Because they're absorbing not just what you say, but what you're doing as you're saying it, how you carry yourself. And I believe that children tap into people far better than adults do. So I think kids can see through, I guess we would say the BS, and they can tap into it. Adults, we learn how to say to each other what sounds good, do in front of each other what looks right. But I think children can actually, they can feel it. They can sense it in the environment. And so, I watched my mom, but what I gained from my mom most importantly was that sense of love and safety. Watching her work hard, but still knowing that her children were her priority, And so in that, I have learned to nurture my relationships because I watched her nurture relationships. In that, I've learned to be confident in who I am. My mother's like a rare jewel. She's not everybody's pick, but the value is still there. I've heard people say they don't like their birthstone, but it doesn't change the value of that stone. You don't have to like the color of a topaz diamond, but it's still a diamond and it's still valuable. And watching my mother fulfill her obligation as a mother all of my life also developed my confidence in who I am. So, definitely everybody saying great things about their parents and beautiful things, but, again, that influence is all around, and we have all carried so much, we carry so much of our parents within ourselves in everything that we do. So,
Absolutely.
Honor to the parents. Happy holidays.
Yep.
I definitely just want to, sound a little bit of what everyone else has been echoing, which is, you are an influence to other people's children, even if you are not a parent. And I saw that a lot in my mom because I also have siblings that were not from, the same relationship, my mom and my dad. And my mom was a stepmom, and stepmoms get a bad rap. I'm a stepmom as well. But one thing I saw with my mother is she showed no partiality to any of us. If one is getting whooped, everyone is getting whooped. If she bought something, a pair of shoes for my brother, her stepchild, which was my other brother, also received it. And we didn't see step or half or anything. We were raised to accept each of our siblings as just siblings, right? And I learned that value from my mom in making sure that it doesn't matter whose child it is, you're just gonna raise and love that child. And today I am a stepmom as well. I don't have physical children of my own that I birthed, but I have to also influence other children, not even just my stepchildren, but my cousins and other people that look up to me. And I also want to give a shout out to my aunts as well, who they play a huge role. It takes a village truly to raise children. And even now in my adult years, they're imparting knowledge in me and, just pouring into me, my Aunt Faye, my Aunt Bernice, my Aunt Annie. I'm like shouting out all their names right now because they've been so pivotal as well in shaping me and continuing to mold me even in this age, and big up to my mom, Tilia, and my dad, John. Love them all.
Thank you. So the women certainly stepped up, Dr. Francis.
Yes, they did.
Sherita, one of the things I know you mentioned as well is just love and safety, right? It's so important to our children to make them feel safe because as adults, that's what we have to do, right? Take the burden of a lot of what's going on, especially in today's world, and then try to filter that and educate our kids as much as possible. So definitely appreciate you both on that. And big up to the aunts is right. I had a couple aunts throughout my life that spoiled me as well as disciplined me and were there at some point or the other. So thank you as well, Keisha.
I just want to say that, big up to those ladies. They did a tremendous job. They came back and they superseded us in a sense. But let me say this to you. I want to say this though. We seem to all have had a very perfect or not so perfect upbringing and all that. But what about the children nowadays? What about the parents nowadays? So some people are not prepared for parenting. And we see a lot of things that are happening, home country Jamaica, here and all that sort of thing. There's a lot of dysfunction, and that concerns me. How do we resolve these issues with these young people nowadays? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I see some examples of young people nowadays, and I have to say to myself, my God, what happened here? I mean, and and I work with them, and I try to work with them, and I one of those things I do is in the criminal justice field. I head the crime task force for Jamaica, USA, and the UK, and I'm saying to myself, I look at the things that are happening. Let's say I don't know how many Jamaicans are in the house, or if everybody are Jamaicans in the house, but and I look and I say, what is happening? How could we, and what are the values? What are the attitudes that we are going to give? I hear, what we're talking about, our own children, our own upbringing. But we must admit that clearly there's a dysfunction, there's a disconnect out there. How do we as adults, how do we as parents, how do we as human beings reach out and reach beyond ourselves to see if we can really make things happen and cause, because if we don't, I suspect we're going to lose generations. We're going to lose generations. I mean, I was talking to a young lady the other day, for example, and I've spoken to Big Man, and the way she was talking to me, I'm in Jamaica. I wondered, as if they, I believe that Black women are queen, but she felt that she was a queen of Sheba plus. You know what I'm saying?
What we're going to do, Dr. Francis, is actually have a whole nother show on the next generations and parenting. Okay. But tonight, it's been a beautiful and amazing night of talking and just sharing about amazing parenting. And I think we did a phenomenal job, this panel, of just touching all bases of what makes it so special. Some of it very painful during this holiday season for a lot of us, some loneliness there, and hopefully there are friends and family around that certainly help in one way or the other. But I also agree that we deal with our pain as well and recognize it for what it is, because people will come and go in our lives, unfortunately. And we deal with it, and everyone has expressed how they've dealt with it in different ways. So I'm going to just go around the panel one more time. And if you want to sing, if you want to cry, if you want to talk, and please tell us the name of the person or persons that you are honoring tonight during this holiday season as well. So let's go back to Claudius.
Yeah, so again, honoring my mom, Marcia England, and my dad, Wesley England. I mean, I have to give them all their hats off. And I just want to say to everybody, even in relations to what Doctor said a while ago, I mean, we have to just put on the hat and remember that regardless of what the world puts at us, we have to remember what we've learned from our parents and try to see how much we can pass it on to other people, because the world is kind of crazy right now with so much different things that even sometimes I want a father and I have a father. You understand? We need somebody else. So we need to build proper circles. These kind of discussions that we're having right now are discussions that we need to have with parents who are in the garrison, who don't know how to parent properly. We have to teach them how to do it, because a lot of people having babies at 15. And when you have baby at 15 and 20 and 30 and everything, sometimes you don't get the experience of life yet. So you don't really. So I think that this is a powerful medium. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna have more topics on parenting, but this is one topic that can go for a year, because we're learning every day about this. So big up to you, big up to all the mamas here, big up to all the stepmoms, Know yourself like to cross off the step and just say, big up to all the mamas on here. And just continue to do a good job. Continue to do the job that you're doing. Look what's happening right now. Wrapping up. So you get to say bye to everybody. Just say bye.
And we certainly do have to have that show and talk about parenting and addressing, you know, the respect level. So yes, this show will certainly lead to that as well. And hopefully people will share this and learn something from it. What does good parenting look like? How does it make every one of us feel? And like you said, work with our communities and our friends and family to make sure our kids are being respectful. You know, if someone calls me up and my kid's being disrespectful, certainly I'm going to act on it like I'm sure a lot of parents will. So yeah, it does take the village. So the conversation certainly continue. And on the Caribbean Edge, we're definitely open. A lot of our guests suggest topics, and we certainly do it as well. Benzly?
That topic has a lot of stuff in it, but I see things on a deeper level when I look and I think about things. And the question is to be asked is, I mean, the real question to be asked is really and truly, all right, we see what's happening with the children and we see what's happening with the young people. And do we have the power to change it? Yes, we do have the power to change it, but do the powers that we want to change it? Because remember, once you control the mind, once you control the mediums that control the mind, you can change the scenario, you can change what is happening in the narrative. But if you don't want to change it, it ain't gonna happen. So I'm saying, so we could go into the inner city communities and go one and one, that would take forever sometimes. But when you have a medium that can broadcast the message to a wider audience at one time, you know what I mean? You can change the narrative and the minds of the people, because as I said, repetitive, that's just the facts of it, over and over again in the mind of the younger people. Their mindset will start to change. Whatever you put in front of them every day. For instance, you watch the talk shows and you watch the reality shows, they pattern in that crap. Every day they see it, they take to it, because that's what's in their mind. If you look at the kids, all them talking, doctor spoke a while ago, the lady spoke to him. Why you think because that's what she sees, that's what she's used to. If we do that change, we will start to change the minds of the young, and we see a lot of changes happen. But I ain't gonna go deep into that right now. Anyway, I just like to say thanks to everybody for coming out. Big up mom and pops. I'm dedicating this to my mother. Wish you were here, mom. You know what I mean? You can't see this, maybe you're seeing it somewhere, say, love you. Pops is still here, chilling. Literally chilling in Jamaica right now. It's cold down here. But yeah, you ladies keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Very important. You keep the show going, right, Don? You keep the show going. It's important.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Keisha, going back to you for any last thoughts?
Yes, I would say for everyone, parents, step-parents, aunts, uncles, everybody that is the village, just keep doing, your best to mold the minds of these youngsters. It's not so much about being friends with, children or, the children that you have influence over. It's good to have a relationship, but also knowing when to be a parent and to be someone that influences and not just trying to be a friend. That's what's going to cause change, and that's what's going to create the young men and young women that they should be, that we're going to turn around and be like, wow, I'm so proud of that person. You have to be able to put aside being friend and being the parent and being that responsible adult that wants better for that individual. And again, final words and final big up is to Tilia and John Harris, my parents who raised me, my aunts, all of you guys. Love you, Carlene and Hillary, you know, the women that I pray with at a certain time of the morning, praying for my family, because you have to, not only for those that aren't religious, I'm sorry, but I can't apologize, but my family stays prayed up. So for all my prayer warriors on my team, we keep praying for our family. And that's one of the things you have to do, not just input knowledge, but if you're a believer of prayer, you just keep praying up that family, you know, that's it.
Absolutely. And Dr. Francis, how about you? Any parting words?
Well, yes, I would like to big up my mother, Margaret Wilmot Ruiz. Our family name is Wilmot, and from St. Anne, and all the aunties and the uncles. I remember I had some uncles, man. If it wasn't for them, I tell you, I wouldn't know what real men look like, you know? And they really were there for me. One was in the army, and I wanted to be like him, so I ended up in the army. But these guys, anything that I wanted, once they were there, they came from America all over, and it was like Christmas. No matter what day in the year it was Christmas when these guys came, because they were really family. All my aunts, you know, my aunts, some of them are not here with us, and my sisters and all that who have their own families. And I want to big up my children and those children of my, you know, my friends and associates, you know, who have really become parents themselves and are, you know, now evoking the parental responsibility and sharing it with others, you know. And as Keisha just said, the faith, you know, that grounded in faith and, you know, certain ethical constructs. I want to big up those parents who have been able to instill that, and they still do, because this world is a better place because of people like all of those persons. I want to big up the panelists who are here this evening. And when I see that young dad playing with his daughter, I can remember, you know, my situation. And I'll tell you this, I named one of my daughters after my mother. And at one time I wondered if it was a good thing. But now I can tell you, it is, because she reminds me of her, and she is just like, you know, she's not only physically beautiful, but she's a beautiful inside as a person. So I think that if we are blessed if we do it the right way, and we share it, and we're not selfish with it, and if we really evoke love and love other persons as we love ourselves. Okay. Now I get on my little soapbox sometimes, and you know, but men, real men, in my opinion, they have the emotions evoked here this evening, and I'm really very happy, Dawn, that you're able to include me in this powerful panel. Okay, thank you very much. And Merry Christmas to everyone on this panel and everyone else who's listening in Radioland. Oh, sorry, I said Radioland. Okay, I think I'm on my show. I hope you come and listen to me sometimes, okay? Dawn will fill you in.
Okay. Yeah, man, thank you. And Sherita?
Well, just in closing, again, I would like to honor my mother, Betty Sutton, my sister, Natasha Sutton, my aunts, my uncles, my brother, Cedric Ellison, my father, Denard Sutton, so many other amazing parents and amazing nurturers. That's what I'll just say. I'm an aunt, and my niece and my nephew and my great nephew, they are pieces that have really added so much value and so much relevancy to my life. So just honoring everyone who has any role, educators, mentors, aunties, uncles, older siblings, cousins, that, you know, anyone that is taking time to sow energy, love, money, compassion, conversations, wisdom, counsel into young adults, children. Just continue to give them your best, count it as a blessing. Children are gifts from God, and it is a blessing that we have the opportunity to be in the company of those children. To all of the parents this holiday, Again, as we've discussed, holidays can be really hard sometimes because it is a time for family. And sometimes we find ourselves reflecting on the ones that are not with us. So for everyone who is having a hard time, because of this holiday season, try to grasp those memories that, make you laugh. Like he said, his mom would laugh until she probably couldn't laugh. Find something to give you the opportunity to laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, laugh until it hurts, because life does, unfortunately, we have to keep moving, but at the same time, it is fortunate that we have to keep moving. So to all the parents, remember the holiday season is not about the stuff, it's bigger. Your children, they may remember their gifts, but what they're going to remember most is how they felt in your company. I have lived in a situation where growing up, we all had our own bedrooms and our own space. And then my mom lost her job and she and I were sleeping in other people's floors. But no matter what, I never would have traded. As long as I was beside my mother, it didn't matter if we were in a 5-bedroom house or on a couch balled up together. So it's not about the stuff. It's about how you make your children feel, instilling that confidence. So keep focusing on being your best, because whatever your best is, that is also going to help develop their best. And, not to be too churchy, but listen, we call it Christmas because it's supposed to be about Christ, right? So I can do that. Just parents, most importantly, if you have any influence on the lives of children, remember to first lean not into your own understanding. We've got to seek, as Keisha said, we've got to pray. We've got to seek God for wisdom and, the right words when we're communicating with others and especially children, because again, we're molding them and we're helping develop who they're going to be. And, we talked about how this show can turn into a whole nother thing, because this world is a really crazy place right now. And we have to make sure that we're not allowing the media to trample our faith. We cannot let all this access to social networking change our values. We have to remember not only who we are, but whose we are, because we cannot teach these children how to be better if we don't get better ourselves. So, let this holiday season be more about imparting gifts of, love, compassion, humility, joy, peace. Let's instill the things that matter, because the stuff is going to come and go. But what we teach each other with matters of our spirituality, matters of the heart, how we treat each other, that's what's really going to last. And, we don't know what 2021 is going to look like. So it's far more important that we're giving our children the building blocks for faith and wisdom than it is that we buy the next pair of Jordans this year for the holidays. So, with that, happy holidays. And again, just blessings and love to all of you out there in Facebook Live radio world as you continue to be impactful presences in the lives of those around you.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, so well said, Sherita.
I just realized that your last name is Sutton. Suttons are in my family, You're the first person I met. Sutton. And my grandmother's like, I just thought that's deep.
So thank you for that, Sherita. As you're talking, I remember my kids asking me what I want for Christmas, and I said, I just want love. That's it. I just want their love. I just want them to curl up in the bed with me and love them. So the 3 people that I want to recognize and honor that impact my life, my brother, Errol Wilson, who is in Turks and Caicos. I mean, if you know anything about me, you know, we were kidnapped together as little kids, 4 and 5.5, 6 years old, and grew up in Jamaica. So he's been my rock. I mean, we talk almost every single day. He sends me a message, and I feel his love, even though we're in 2 different countries. We've been through hell and back. But it's just a stand-up guy that no matter what happens in life, he's there for me. So that's the man, the rock in my life. The second person is my bad grandma, who my cussing grandma, who just was the strength, and a lot of her strength I see myself, I see it in my entire family. The rock that she was a no-nonsense person, but her love was strong beyond measure and carries through with us. And I recognize her for taking me in and just being there for me when I needed her a lot. And then in my most recent life, my best friend's mom, Miss Sonia Lopez, who just calls me her daughter. She calls her my kids her grandkids, and that's how she introduces us. She loves to cook. She loves all the fish, the bami, the breadfruit, and she met me roti, and we drink with wine and we get together. Unfortunately, they just moved down the street from me last year, so just more family time with them, even though they're not my biological family. And that love that we're all talking about tonight on this panel that we get from parenting and giving it back to those of us that are parents, not even just to our own kids, but to the rest of the kids in the world, is what we want to recognize and pay tribute to during this holiday season. So I can't thank you all enough for being on this panel tonight and sharing your heartfelt stories with us, so that we can share that with the rest of the world. And for the viewers that tuned in tonight, and I hope you can really connect with everything that we said somewhere. So for all the parents, no matter what role you play in someone's life, thank you from the Caribbean Edge, and thank you from all the beautiful panelists tonight. Have a beautiful night. One love.
One love. Thank you.